Hey, I'm Eliza, and today I wanted to discuss Yahoo. When the internet was first finding its footing in the early days of the World Wide Web, a pioneering company would define the dot-com era, and this was Yahoo. This is the story of its journey and its humble beginnings to the transformation through numerous acquisitions, shaping the digital landscape. Let's go back to 1994, where two ingenious Stanford students, Jerry Young and David Filo, embarked on a quest to bring order to the World Wide Web. Armed with vision, they conjured up Jerry's Guide to the World Wide Web, which I quite like, and this was for Internet explorers of the age. Little did they know this little guidebook would actually become Yahoo. This officially happened in 1995, the official birth of Yahoo, helping bewildered masses navigate the web. So, why Yahoo? Well, this was a question I asked, and it actually stands for something, yet another hierarchical, officious oracle, which is really a mouthful, to be honest. It took me a few times to get that right. But Yahoo, nevertheless, was destined for greatness, and it quickly became the coolest kid on the block. Yahoo didn't just ride the dot-com wave, it surfed it, it caught it, it did it in style. The year was 1996, and it was a whirlwind of adventure for both Yahoo and pop culture. And by pop culture, I mean that Spice Girls had their number one hit, Wannabe. Just thought I would add that in. And let's not forget, they actually set up shop in the heart of Silicon Valley, the epicenter of the tech revolution. So it was a pretty exciting time. The acquisition era. Yahoo used its stock as currency and went on an acquisition spending spree, buying up companies like GeoCities, Overture Services, and expanding its reach and diversifying its offerings. Some of the acquisitions I personally remember are Polyvore and Tumblr. When looking through the list, I noticed that they had acquired companies every year from 1997 to 2015. I thought this was a lot, but maybe this is usual for big companies, I don't know. One company they did pass on, though, was Google. At one point, they had the opportunity to acquire Google for $5 million. And obviously, this decision unknowingly put them at risk. But I guess hindsight is 2020. Turbulent times. Yahoo saw a revolving door of CEOs, each attempting to revive the company's fortunes. Marissa Mayer's tenure from 2012 to 2017 was particularly notable as she aimed to reshape the company's identity. Marissa Mayer was a reasonably exciting individual as she previously worked as a former Google executive. She embarked on multiple initiatives, one being the successful acquisition of Tumblr. In an article I read from Deadline, she was quoted to say, "We looked at the transformative acquisition. We bought Tumblr. At the time, we were also considering whether it was possible to buy Hulu or, ironically, Netflix. And I think Netflix was $4 billion, and Hulu was $1.3 billion at the time. And either of those, with hindsight being 2020, would have been a better acquisition." While doing some reading, I ended up finding some comments saying that Yahoo ruined Tumblr because of policies being described as prudish. However, I personally don't think it's fair to say that. Policy changes were driven by US law. However, when Yahoo was bought by Verizon, it became more strict as they did implement more filters. This was all a problem because one of the things that made Tumblr and made it special as a platform is that it allowed for the safe space of those with gender and sexual identities that didn't fit into mainstream culture at the time. A lot of changes ended up meaning that Tumblr wasn't the place it once was anymore. On the other side of Yahoo, there was another acquisition that I was quite curious about, which is Polyvore. For those of you who don't know, Polyvore functions as a mood board, allowing you to create collages from sets. I think the hope was that Yahoo Style and Yahoo Beauty would get a boost in traffic. It's strange that Yahoo acquired this company in 2015 and then sold it in 2018. That doesn't sound like a long time to me. One article I did read was that Yahoo had a history of buying startups by former Google APM members. And for those of you that don't know what APM means, it means Associate Product Manager. According to the article I read, 49 of Yahoo's acquisitions Yahoo made under Meia's leadership, 6 were founded by ex-Googlers. I personally don't think that's a lot, but I might be wrong. These companies were Polyvore, as mentioned above, Stamped, On Air, Aviate, Blink, and Distill. Many people call these companies acqui-hires, something I was thinking of, so my views. One of the things I found really confusing when researching this was why did they there were 3 of them I could find or think of. They kept trying to find blog-like sites and acquiring them, so GeoCities, Tumblr, and Polyvore, and that was really confusing to me. I'm sure there was a method to the madness. I mean, Yahoo probably had a primary motivation to broaden its user base and capitalize on user-generated content. These platforms weren't just blogs, they were hubs of creativity and really passionate communities. I'm sure the idea of these acquisitions was to tap into a dynamic, diverse user-generated content that these sites fostered. GeoCities, for example, was a pioneer of enabling users to create their web pages. Tumblr offered a unique microblogging experience and social networking experience. Polyvore harnessed fashion and style enthusiasts. I guess Yahoo saw potential in harnessing the content and communities on their platform to bolster its own services and revenue streams. I don't think, from my research, from what I know, I don't think this ever happened or ever went well. And I think that's because it's complex. The challenge, I think, arises from the clash of culture between these acquired platforms and Yahoo's corporate identity. All these sites like GeoCities, Tumblr, and Polyvore had distinct identities already and a passionate user base. And I think it would have been a struggle for Yahoo to harmonize these subcultures in an overarching corporate environment. And I think it really showcases the struggle between preserving the unique characteristics that make these platforms attractive to people in the first place and aligning them with a broader corporate strategy. And I think it's always hard because it's a balancing act. And I'm sure there would have been a lot of debate and a lot of challenges within the organization when taking on these platforms. Data breaches. So let's talk about a not so positive part of Yahoo's history, which is data breaches. This put a massive stain on their reputation and it exposed billions of users' personal information, and it dealt a significant blow to people's confidence in the company. They were a trusted internet provider, and that made them suffer a severe blow when these breaches came to light. These breaches laid bare a lot of people's really sensitive information, including usernames, email addresses, hash passwords, and even security questions and answers. The most significant of these breaches actually happened in 2013, and at the time it was said to be one of the largest in history that people knew of. And this actually happened because unauthorized third parties had managed to infiltrate data from over 1 billion user accounts. The ramifications of this breach was profound, not just in public confidence, but it also encompassed legal and financial consequences for the company. Regrettably, this wasn't an isolated instance because in 2004, another breach exposed data of 500 million user accounts that had been compromised. And this really raised concerns and questions about whether Yahoo cared about user data and security. Understandably, people were anxious. At the time, security experts did highlight that Yahoo employed the bcrypt hashing algorithm, which was known to be quite difficult to crack. However, for some accounts, an older method was used, which was MD5 algorithm, which was quite easy to exploit. One of the other challenges came with people not knowing they actually had Yahoo accounts. So, for example, people who had a Flickr account didn't realize that was actually a Yahoo account. Yahoo did take steps to address these issues, including prompting users to change their passwords or invalidating previous security questions. Nevertheless, this was definitely a stain in the timeline. And one of the interesting things was that they actually, in the midst of a company acquiring Yahoo, they renegotiated the deal's price due to repercussions stemming from data breaches. So they actually got less. A new dawn. Verizon Communications acquired Yahoo's internet business, so this included email, search, advertising technology for a staggering $4.48 billion. The acquisition was Verizon's bold move to strengthen its digital advertising and media portfolio, but the journey didn't stop there. The internet business Verizon acquired was merged with AOL to form Othink. The aim was to compete in the digital media and advertising space. Othink did later rebrand to Verizon Media Group, but faced challenges with such big industry giants like Google and Facebook. But if we fast forward to 2007, the final chapter of this incredible story, Apollo Global Management acquired Verizon Media Group for a whopping $5 billion. So it marked another transition. Today, what they have actually done is reverted back to the old name, so it's a new beginning for the internet pioneer. Today, Yahoo is transforming like never before. The company has made some really bold moves, so it slashed 20% of its workforce to streamline operations, which is quite sad. Yahoo is now focused on its core business, such as Yahoo Mail, finance, and sports, I guess aiming to bring back the glory of its .com era. But that's not all. Yahoo is acquiring companies, so acquired a peer-to-peer sports app called Wagga. So I guess we just have to wait and see how this company goes and whether it will make its mark in the digital world again. So this is the end. There was a lot to cover about this company, and I tried to make it as succinct as possible and just give an overview. So I guess this video is a testament to how far things can change and evolve within the tech industry. From its pioneering days as a web directory to its numerous acquisitions and transformations, Yahoo has really gone through a lot. Though it doesn't dominate the tech landscape, its story is still a part of our history, and it still remains a really interesting thing to explore. So that's it from me. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I hope you liked this video.